there comes a time in life when you must stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your dreams. Stop trying to convince people of what God has placed inside you. Because at the end of the day, words won't prove anything. Your results will. Your success will. Your transformation will. Let your results speak. Too many people waste time trying to get others to see their vision, trying to prove their worth, trying to justify their progress. But the truth is, some people will never believe in you until they see the manifestation of what you've been working on. And even then, some will still find a reason to doubt. That's why you can't live for the applause of man. You can't build your life on the validation of others. You can't base your confidence on whether people approve of you or not, because if you do, you'll always be at the mercy of their opinions. And that is a dangerous place to be. Jesus himself did not go around explaining who he was. He didn't waste time arguing with people who refused to believe in him. He simply did what he was called to do. When John the Baptist sent his disciples to ask if he was truly the Messiah, Jesus didn't engage in a long discussion. He didn't try to convince them with words. He said, "Go back and tell John what you have seen. The blind see, the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the gospel is preached to the poor." In other words, look at the results, look at the fruit, look at the evidence of what God is doing. See, when something is real, when something is God ordained, when something is truly meant to be, it does not need constant defense. It will prove itself over time. Some of you have been talking too much, explaining too much, trying too hard to get people to understand your journey. But hear me today, silence is powerful. There's a strength in letting your work speak for itself. There's an authority in moving forward, regardless of who supports you. Look at David. When he was anointed to be king, he didn't go around trying to prove himself. He didn't try to convince people that he was chosen. He simply kept doing what he was called to do. And when the time came, his results spoke for him. When Goliath threatened Israel, David stepped forward, not because he had spent years convincing people that he was worthy, but because his preparation in the field, killing lions and bears, had already made him ready. He let his victory over Goliath speak for itself. Some of you have been frustrated because people don't believe in you. They don't see your potential. They don't acknowledge your progress. But that's okay. Because the best way to respond is not through words, it's through results. You don't have to announce every step you take. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just keep working, keep building, keep growing. And one day the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge what God has done in your life. This is why patience is so important. Some of the greatest things take time to develop. A tree does not grow overnight. A masterpiece is not created in a day. Some of you are in the process of becoming, but because you don't see immediate results, you feel the need to prove yourself prematurely. Don't fall into that trap. Stay focused, stay committed, and let your progress unfold in its own time. When God blesses you, when he elevates you, when he takes you from where you are to where you're meant to be, it will be undeniable. The same people who overlooked you, the same ones who doubted you, the same ones who said you would never make it will have to sit and watch as God's hand moves in your life. But that only happens when you stop getting distracted by proving yourself and start putting your energy into executing your vision. The greatest revenge is success. The greatest response to doubt is proof. The greatest way to silence the critics is to keep rising. Because at the end of the day, results speak louder than words. People may argue with your opinions, but they can't argue with results. They may question your dreams, but they can't question the fruit of your labor. So don't waste another moment explaining yourself to those who don't matter. Don't spend another second defending yourself to those who refuse to understand. Don't lower yourself to the level of proving your worth. Instead, go out and build something that speaks for itself. Because when it's all said and done, it won't be your words that tell your story, it will be your results. Keep moving forward and let your success be the loudest thing in the room. In this life, there will always be distractions. There will always be people who don't understand your journey, who doubt your potential, and who question your vision. But you cannot afford to get caught up in their opinions. You cannot afford to let their words shake your faith. If you truly want to walk in the fullness of what God has for you, you must learn to stay focused, stay quiet, and stay in purpose. Focus is one of the greatest keys to success. Too many people start strong, but get distracted along the way. They allow criticism, negativity, and outside noise to pull them off course. But when you have a purpose, when you have a calling, when you have a vision that God has placed inside you, you have to be relentless in your focus. You cannot afford to stop every time someone has an opinion about what you are doing. You cannot afford to slow down just to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand your path in the first place. Jesus knew his assignment. He knew what he was sent to do. And no matter how much people doubted him, no matter how many Pharisees questioned him, no matter how many critics tried to stop him, he never lost focus. He didn't waste time arguing. He didn't stop to convince people. He simply kept doing what he was called to do. That is the mindset you must have. You must be so committed to your purpose that no amount of criticism, no amount of doubt, no amount of resistance can shake you. And sometimes the best way to stay focused is to stay quiet. Not everything needs to be announced. Not every plan needs to be shared. There is a time for speaking and there is a time for silence. Some of you have been talking too much about what you are working on, and because of that, you have allowed unnecessary opposition into your life. You have allowed negativity to creep in because you shared your dreams with people who were never meant to carry them with you. Look at Nehemiah. When he was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, he didn't go around broadcasting his plans to everyone. He didn't seek approval from those who had no vision. He worked in silence. And when opposition came, he refused to be distracted. He told his enemies, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. That needs to be your response to anything that tries to pull you away from your purpose. When you stay quiet, you protect what God is building in you. You allow your dreams to develop without interference. You give yourself space to grow, to prepare, to strengthen your foundation before you reveal what you've been working on. And when the time is right, when God has established you, your results will speak for themselves. But above all else, you must stay in purpose. Purpose is what keeps you moving even when things get hard. Purpose is what gives you the strength to push through doubt, fear, and opposition. When you know why you are doing what you are doing, you don't get easily discouraged. You don't give up just because things don't happen as quickly as you expected. You don't quit just because people don't believe in you. Because at the end of the day, You are not living for their approval. You are living to fulfill the assignment God has given. Some people will never understand your journey, and that's okay. Some will doubt you, and that's okay. Some will talk about you, and that's okay. Because when you are focused, when you are quiet, and when you are walking in purpose, nothing can stop what God has planned for you. So keep building, keep growing, keep moving forward, and let your life be a testimony of what happens when you trust God, stay focused, and refuse to be distracted by the noise. Not everyone can handle your journey. That's something you've got to settle in your spirit right now. See, we live in a world where we crave validation, where we want people to cheer us on, support us, and celebrate our growth. But the truth is, some people don't want to see you rise. Some people are more comfortable with the old version of you. They liked you when you were struggling, when you were uncertain, when you were just like them. But the moment you start growing, the moment you start stepping into what God has for you, you'll begin to see that not everyone is clapping for you. Joseph had a dream, a big dream, a God-sized dream. And when he shared it with his brothers, he expected excitement, encouragement, maybe even support. But instead, they envied him, they despised him, they plotted against him. His own brothers, the people closest to him, the ones who should have been in his corner, betrayed him. Some of you have been wondering why the people you love the most don't support you. You've been confused about why those you expected to be happy for you are distant, cold, or even outright hostile. It's because not everyone can handle your journey. You see, there's something about vision that intimidates people who have none. When you start moving differently, when you start thinking bigger, when you start talking about purpose, calling, and destiny, it makes some people uncomfortable. Because now they have to look at themselves and ask, why am I still here? Why am I not growing? Why am I not pushing towards something greater? And instead of rising with you, instead of being inspired by you, they start resenting. They start looking for ways to pull you back down to where they are. This is why you can't share your journey with just anybody. Some people don't have the capacity to see what God is doing in your life. They're stuck in their own insecurities, their own fears, their own limited mindset. And when they see you breaking free, when they see you believing for more, when they see you daring to step out in faith, it disrupts their comfort zone. They'd rather you stay in the same place so they don't have to confront their own stagnation. You've got to understand that some betrayals come from people who simply can't handle what God is doing in your life. Joseph's brothers threw him in a pit, not because he had done anything wrong, but because they couldn't handle what he was destined to become. They couldn't handle the favor on his life. Some of you have been thrown into pits of rejection, pits of betrayal, pits of disappointment, because someone around you couldn't handle your anointing. But hear me today, what they meant for evil, God will turn for your good. Joseph's brothers thought they were stopping him. They thought they were destroying his destiny, but in reality, they were pushing him toward it. Some of the betrayals you've experienced, some of the people who walked away, some of the doors that were slammed in your face, it wasn't to break you, it was to position you. It was to move you into the right place at the right time. It was to align you with God's plan for your life. That's why you can't be bitter. That's why you can't waste time being angry or trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to go where you're going. Some people were part of your past, but are not part of your future. And that's okay. Let them go. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. because what God has for you is bigger than their opinion. You've got to be selective with who you share your dreams with. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Not everyone has the capacity to see what God is doing in you. Jesus himself was selective with who he allowed in his inner circle. He spoke in parables because not everyone was ready for the deeper revelation. Even in moments of great miracles, he only took a few disciples with him. Why? Because some things require privacy. Some things require protection. Some things need time to grow before they are exposed. So if you're on a journey toward purpose, be careful who you allow to speak into your life. Surround yourself with people who will push you forward, not hold you back. Connect with those who celebrate your growth, not resent it. And most importantly, trust God's timing. What he has for you will come to pass, and when it does, those who doubt it, those who envy, those who try to stop you will have no choice but to witness the greatness he has placed inside you. Keep moving forward, even if you have to do it alone. When you are working towards something great, when God has placed a vision inside of you, you must learn to protect your progress. Not everything needs to be shared. Not every step of the journey needs to be announced. Some things are meant to be developed in private before they are revealed to the world. Too many dreams have been destroyed. Too many breakthroughs have been delayed, not because they weren't meant to happen, but because they were exposed too soon. Think about a seed. When a farmer plants a seed, he doesn't keep digging it up to check on it. He doesn't keep pulling it out of the soil to show people that it's growing. No, he plants it, waters it, nurtures it, and lets it grow in the dark, because growth requires protection. It requires time. It requires an environment where it can develop roots before it is exposed to the elements. Some of you are wondering why your progress seems to be stalling. Why every time you take one step forward, something happens that pushes you 2 steps back. Could it be that you are exposing your progress before it is strong enough to withstand the opposition? You must understand that not everyone is happy about your growth. Not everyone is excited about your progress. There are people who will pretend to be in your corner, but secretly hope that you fail. Some people will smile in your face while planting seeds of doubt in your mind. That's why you can't share everything with everybody. Some people don't need to know what you're working on until it's already done. Some people don't need to hear about your vision until it's already a reality. Because if you let the wrong people into your process, they will contaminate it. They will fill you with doubt, with fear, with hesitation. Look at Nehemiah. When he was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, he didn't go around announcing every detail of his plan. He didn't seek approval from those who had no vision for what he was building. No, he moved in silence. He worked with focus. And when opposition came, when Sanballat and Tobiah tried to discourage him, tried to distract him, tried to stop him, he refused to come down from the wall. He understood that his progress was too important to be interrupted. Some of you need to develop that same mindset. Stop coming down from your assignment to address every critic. Stop wasting time explaining your vision to people who have no intention of supporting it. Stop allowing distractions to pull you away from what God has called you to do. There are moments in life when you have to be your own biggest supporter. There are seasons where you will have to encourage yourself, pray over yourself, and believe in yourself even when nobody else does. And in those seasons, it's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about staying focused, staying committed, and staying in alignment with what God has placed inside of you. The enemy works through doubt, he works through discouragement, and one of his greatest tactics is to make you question what God has already confirmed. That's why you can't open yourself up to every opinion, to every voice, to every criticism. Some of you are delaying your own success because you are seeking validation from people who don't even believe in themselves. You're allowing people who have never built anything to tell you how to build. You're letting people who have never taken a leap of faith tell you that your dream is impossible. But the devil is a liar. If God gave you the vision, he will give you the provision. If he called you to it, he will equip you for it. But you must protect your progress. Stop sharing your every move with people who don't have your best interests at heart. Stop looking for applause from people who wouldn't clap for you even if you succeeded. Work in silence. Build in faith, and when the time is right, let the results speak for themselves, because what God has started in you, no man can stop. Keep building, keep growing, and keep moving forward.